Hello, ladies, gentlemen, and everyone in between. I'm Anurag from All India Queer Association, and welcome to our YouTube channel. If you haven't subscribed, make sure to do so, and also make sure to like, comment, share this video. So, today I will be discussing some questionable preconceived notions about the LGBT community that the society has, and I'm going to be ripping them apart. So, without further ado, here are 10 stereotypes and myths about the LGBT community. Number 1. Being gay or being part of the LGBT identity is a choice. Most ignorant people seem to believe that people voluntarily chooses to live this lifestyle, to become gay or lesbian or trans or something. If that were the case, why wouldn't we just choose to be straight, huh? There are actually some people who believe that one day we just woke up and chose to be a part of this minority group that are oppressed and has no rights. Like, darling, being straight is so much easier, so why would we not choose that? So here's an important reminder to all these ignorant folks that, being gay or lesbian is not a choice. We were born this way and we cannot change. It's not a choice. Which leads me up to our next stereotype or myth that LGBT people can be cured, homosexuality can be cured. Unfortunately, this is a notion that many parents and families of LGBT teens seem to have, and due to this, many parents push their LGBT child or children towards, therapy or conversion therapy and doctors and stuff like that. Homosexuality or any kind of identity in the gender spectrum is not a disease that can be cured. It's not something that you can fix because it is not broken. It is part of who we are, it is our identity, and that is something that you cannot change with, therapy or medicine or voodoo shit. The third stereotype is that all gay men are effeminate and wear makeup and stuff like that, and all lesbians are like boyish and they have short hair and stuff. I think by now we can all agree that that is not the case. Like, sure, look at me, I wear makeup and I am effeminate, so yeah, I do fit the stereotype, but there are a lot of people out there who do not fit into the stereotype. Gay men can be masculine, gay men can play sports, gay men can just be as normal and ordinary as straight people. And not all lesbians hate dresses, not all lesbians are tomboys. The LGBT community is a diverse one. You find all sorts of people here. You'll find effeminate people, you'll find masculine people, you'll find non-binary people. It's a welcoming place for each and everyone. Everyone is unique, and so not everybody fits the stereotype. The next stereotype is that the LGBT community, especially gay men, are very promiscuous. This is a stereotype that has often been depicted in media a lot of times. In my opinion, gay men love sex as much as straight people do. Gay men engage in sex as much as straight people do. I think the main difference is that gay men are more open about it, they talk more about it, they do not shy away from this topic, whereas many straight people tend to keep this topic hush-hush. Like I mentioned earlier, LGBT community has a lot of different diverse people. So obviously there are a lot of people who are very sexually active, but also there are a lot of people who prefer monogamy, who do not like a lot of sex, or who are asexual. So this notion about gay men being, all about sex and only sex is honestly very outdated and silly. The next stereotype is that bisexuality is a phase. Ugh. Like, I have heard the stereotype so many times, and there was even somebody in my own circle who believed that. Many people tend to think that bisexuals are just confused people or just indecisive people who will eventually choose one side or the other. Like, why is it so hard to believe that a person can be attracted to both men and women? And then when a bisexual person decides to be with a person of the same gender, they're like, oh yeah, you were gay all along. Or when they choose a person of the opposite gender, they're like, oh, you're straight, so you were just pretending to be gay, or you were confused or something. Like, that is so ridiculous and offensive. And then there's this additional notion that bisexual people are greedy and they are not capable of being monogamous because, they like both men and women, so they cannot be happy with just one person. Like, love is about a person, like about who you love, like, their personality, their character, their soul, and not about what's between their legs. It's not a phase and they are not indecisive, okay? Number 6. There's this ridiculous notion that gay people can influence and turn other people gay. Like, if that were the case, we would be ruling over the world. Like, this entire planet would just be full of raging homosexuals and lesbians and transgender people. Like, there are a lot of people, especially, parents who do not want their children or child to be near a gay person. They're like, oh no, no, don't stay away from them. Or, they do not want their children or their friends to mingle with LGBT people because they're afraid that somehow they will turn their children into an LGBT person. Like, honey, being gay or being lesbian or being an LGBT identity is not contagious. I grew up around straight people all my life and I still managed to be fruity. Similarly, if a person is straight, they are going to stay straight no matter their environment, no matter who they mingle with. Parents, if you think your child is turning or has turned gay because of somebody else, the odds are your child was already gay. The next stereotype that I'm going to talk about is more of a misunderstanding that people have, where they think that drag queens and cross-dressers are the same as transgender people, which is wrong. Transgender people are people who do not identify with the gender that they were assigned at birth. For example, a person who was born a male may not identify with being a man and they may identify themselves as a woman, and hence they're not comfortable with their biological genitalia. That is a transgender person. Drag queens, on the other hand, are cisgender males. They are men who just dress up as women and wear this ridiculous makeup and costumes as a performance. Cross-dressers also fall under the same category as drag queens, I think. I mean, men dressing up as women and women dressing up as men are known as cross-dressers. There may be various reasons for that, and it may not be just a performance or something. But all those are different from being a transgender person. They are not the same. The next myth that many people seem to believe is that people become gay or they identify as an LGBT identity due to some childhood trauma. There was this popular theory that a child who is sexually assaulted or who goes through some intense trauma go on and become gay in the future because of that unresolved trauma. This is some bullshit. People need to stop equating LGBT community with tragedy. We are not who we are because of our tragic past. Everybody has trauma, whether straight or LGBT. There is no relation between our gender identity or our sexual identity and our trauma. This is an idea that is just propagated by people who think that, LGBT identity can be cured because there's some sort of cause behind it. The next stereotype is about the HIV disease, the AIDS disease, which people think that it's a gay disease and it happens only to gay people. My dear, did you forget to take your science class in high school? HIV or AIDS is a disease that can be contagious through needles, through breast milk, through sexual contact. So no, this does not only happen to gay people. Anybody in the world, whether gay or straight, can contract HIV. Educate yourselves and take precautions whether you are an LGBT person or not, because viruses do not discriminate. And last but not the least, at number 10, we have this awful notion that gay people are child abusers. Many homophobic or ignorant people perpetuate this idea that all child abusers are gay or they are homosexual people. This notion has given rise to stigma around LGBT people, and this is why many parents and many elders do not want their children around an LGBT person. This idea is not only very harmful but also very untrue. Various research and studies have shown that a child abuser is somebody very close. They are either part of the family, or they are a relative or a family friend, or somebody who actually knows the child. And 90% of these child abusers identify as heterosexual. So to equate an LGBT person with a child abuser is very untrue. It's offensive, it's harmful, and it only serves to further perpetuate this stigma around LGBT people. Now, stereotypes are something that nobody can escape from. Whether you are from a particular country or a particular religion or race, people will always have some sort of preconceived notions about you. It is the society's responsibility to educate themselves and to rectify their thoughts and ideas. Some stereotypes may be silly, but some can really be harmful. So all of us really need to be careful about judging people. We cannot dispel prejudice with a flick of a hand in a second. But I really hope that with this video, it has helped a little bit to bust these myths and stereotypes about the LGBT community. I really hope you enjoyed this segment. Make sure to like, comment, share, and subscribe. Thank you so much for watching, and stay tuned for more. Bye!